right, people. So it has been a while. It has been a minute, as the people in them to say. But we are back with episode 3 of the Curry Stew, the Chutney podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are back and front and side.
Welcome back. I am Richard DiiSiiMO. Welcome to episode 3 of the Curry Stew. We come to stew up that curry and curry up that stew, where we speak about everything that's happening in the chutney soca industry and stuff that you might want to know about and stuff that you might even not know about. And we're going to discuss things a little deeper, because we're not just about the bacchanal here. We're about the root causes, what really happening, and also what are some of the solutions, what are some of the things that we could do about it. So that's what we're going to be discussing on our show here today and all the time.
Right.
And tonight is no difference.
Right. So I don't know if you're on the left of me, up, down, the next side.
They don't matter, no?
It's good. It's good to have you back with us, Richard, in terms of physically as well. I know you had some offshore duties recently.
Yes, that's correct. I was overseas. I was overseas in Tobago.
Oh God. Welcome back.
Yeah, some people, whenever they say that they go to Tobago, they say, "Oh, you went overseas." It is overseas.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It is.
Right. So, since you're back, what you have for us today? I know you have a hot topic for us today. I know it's something that that you are feeling deep inside your dunya.
Well, I already feel so deep inside now. It's just right here.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
Because whenever I discuss anything about the chutney industry with anyone, any one of my friends or people that I know, they're saying it without saying it, or they're asking it without asking it. What they're asking or even saying is that chutney industry, what's happening there? They have no idea what's going on. And even for people who I believe are supposed to know what is going on, they don't really know that much.
Right.
And even I'm a person who is not as active or really involved with the goings on about things in the industry. Still, I have my, feelers on the ground, and I get to speak with people who are in the industry like yourself and other people, whether it be artists or producers or writers or band people, that kind of thing too.
Right.
And anyone else beside those people are like, chutney industry, it still have stuff going on there. What going on there? It still have this one. It still have that one. And I'm like, well, yeah, or yeah, kind of, but it's like people not aware, like they don't know what's going on. I don't know if I have like weird friends or I don't go out enough or what it is, but it's that when I start to think a little deeper now, I'm saying that, all right, well, it's basically a visibility thing. It has to be that. But then I'm thinking that chutney artists, bands, people in the industry, everyone has Instagram, has Facebook or TikTok or something, and they're able to put their content out. So it's not that they are not exposed or able to put their stuff out there or, something, in some cases, lay their whole life story out for everybody to see and digest. But I'm not seeing it really happening. And sometimes I have to look. Then I might find one or two little things, but there's nothing really to speak about. And I want to find out, is it that, are the people in the industry just not doing enough, or is there nothing happening? And then with all of that I just mentioned before, with all of that being said, I think we really want to find out, is the chutney industry dying? Is it shrinking? Is it just saying, okay, we're in a comfort zone here and we good right here? Carnival time come and go, and yeah, there's a time for that now. Whereas in years gone by, at least from since when I knew it, there was never a season for chutney.
Exactly.
Whether it is traditional chutney, chutney soca,
Bolini,
anything else, Bolini, everything is happening right throughout.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to find out tonight. We want to find out and discuss, is the chutney industry dying? Is it shrinking? What is going on? What do you think is going on? And we'll discuss some of the points that we believe are factors contributing to that thought.
Right. Well, from an industry perspective, being on a couple of radio stations, first of all, to say that we have an actual flourishing full industry with all the elements and, every segment and everything that's supposed to be in place. Even you had mentioned, that we can be sure that is actually a full industry. We don't know what to call it per se, but yes, for now we would just say it's an industry.
Yeah, it is an industry.
Yeah, and the thing is, I see over the years, it has changed from where it was, as you said, in terms of lots of chutney coming out, traditional chutney soca, even back then. It's weird to say, even back then, the one or two Bolini songs that came out, they were even, they were different to what you're hearing now. It was like the rare occasion that you hear something like that, and they put a lot of effort into it. So they tried to make it as palatable as possible for the listening public and the party public. But now it has evolved into something where again, chutney. The word chutney means a particular type of song, right? It means a particular type of song. It means a particular type of genre. You're not getting it. You're not getting actual chutney anymore. I can say it's probably 5%, 5 to 10% of all the releases that are coming out in terms of Indo songs, in terms of that industry, in terms of songs, right? You're getting one chutney song for every 30, 40 Indo songs that are coming out.
Right.
So it has evolved to where, the chutney element itself is no longer, a huge part of releases, and that in itself might be something that has really affected where it is now, what's happening now, parties, things that are really making this change to the point where you have to ask, and I have to ask, and everybody else has to ask, is this thing dying? Is this thing really dying?
Because where's the music? The music is okay. First of all, how many songs are being released after Carnival?
You're getting a lot of songs, but not chutney. You're getting cover versions.
What is it then? What is it?
Cover versions, just cover versions.
Right.
95% cover versions.
All right. No. Okay.
Of Bollywood. Of Bollywood.
Right. Okay. So these are just covers. So when we say covers, we're speaking about if there's a song that comes out from Bollywood, let's say, I don't know, wherever, right? ABC.
Right.
Then an artist, whether it be local or wherever, well, probably local, they will come out with a cover version of that.
Right.
That's what you're saying. There are cover versions of these things.
Not only like current songs, but they're diving back. Of course, as you know, they do the Kishore Kumar, the Muhammad Rafi, some of the legends of Bollywood. They're still doing a lot of those songs. A lot of the other artists, the females will do the Lata Mangeshkar and, the various other artists as well too.
Right. So all of those things are covers. And for anyone who doesn't know, a cover version is where they take a song, whether it be a recent song or a song from way back when, and they just sing it over.
Right.
Right. Now, for the regular person out there, they think that that's content. They think that it's a song, it's a song from this artist or this group or band, and that's a song, and they could release how much they want for the year. Let's say if they have a release for every single month of the year. So that means that you have 12 releases for the year. And of all of those 12 releases, let's say 10 of them are cover versions. Is that what is going on?
That's exactly what's going on. And it's gotten to a point where the artists, you feel like some of the artists themselves, they believe like that's their song. Right now, I don't want to go and dive into that whole topic of covers and all that.
Yeah.
But it's gotten to the point where,
But sorry to jump in, but cover song means that you're just taking somebody's song and just singing it over.
Exactly.
There's no way to sugarcoat that.
In your way, how you want it to be delivered in your kind of style with your music and your additions and your subtractions and everything else, right?
Because I can't sing over a song. I say, I'm doing it the Buju Banton way. I'm doing it the Vibes Cartel way. Yes, me. I will do it the Vibes Cartel way.
Right.
No, we can't do that. So everyone has their version of things. And I believe that that's something that has been a thing for a long time. People say, oh, well, I like this one's version because when a popular song comes out, it's like 5, 6, 10 different versions.
10. Yeah, 10 is
And
more
then
like
they'll
it.
be like, all right, so I like this person's version, or I like man A version, or I like Lady Z version, and this group X version. So yeah, that's what's going on. You are singing over people's music that you can't even say in your own way. You are just singing over people's music because who other way could sing it again?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right? But then again, people say, oh, well, I like this person's version. Okay, yeah. But then again, you're still taking somebody else's music. You're taking their property basically and singing it over. Right. Okay. That's a very well established fact.
Right.
And it's something that has become a norm in the industry from since whenever. It's a thing, right? The legality of it is a whole other thing. But at the same time, I will tell you on the topic of cover versions that cover versions, yeah, it's cool. But then after a point, it started to get not so cool. And then people started to kind of shy away from it a little bit. And then I don't know what's going on. Like it just kind of stayed right at that level. It just had a bubble right there and that's it. Nothing is really getting super popular. It's not dead, at least not yet. But it's just there. It's just kind of bubbling and it's not going anywhere. So, and then I've heard a few artists tell me, they say, hey, well, I have the rights to these songs and I got the rights from these people or whoever to actually do a version of the song.
Which I never kind of understood in terms of, I mean, it was explained to me the kind of rights, the rights to do it over, but not the right to claim the original song, but just the one that you did over
but
to
then
perform
my point,
and then...
Whatever it is, my point is, does that make it cool? No. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if I'm producing music on Ableton Live or Logic or FL Studio. Nobody knows and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone knows that it's just a product and I want to either enjoy it or not. And that's it. Right? It's a cover version. It is what it is. Right? You take somebody else's intellectual property and whatever they sing or whatever, and you take it and you sing it over. That's just what it is. If it's the legality of it, whether you get the rights, that's a whole different story. Right? But cover versions are just that. You take somebody else's music or whatever, you'll get somebody else to reproduce brand new music for it, usually. Sometimes I hear people taking samples from the songs and putting it in as well. I don't think that's predominantly a thing again, is it?
No.
No, okay. So they'll get people to make it over because we have very talented musicians in the industry. Very. But that's just it. You're still taking something that was already existing and putting your likeness on it and then saying that it's your own. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, because I believe that there's a place for all of these things, But is that where the industry should be? Is that where we're going and staying? Because if that's where we're going to stay and just bubble like right here, then what do we expect? Do we expect that people are going to say, oh, well, this is just amazing and let's just take this to so and do this with it and let me have a big concert in New York? And is anybody doing that?
Nope.
Do we have that pull? Are we able to sell out an arena abroad to say, right, the music is going further, we are being internationally recognized, or are we just making our food? Are we just doing something that just is cool with the already existing infrastructure?
Well,
is that it?
Forget
are we
going
cool with that?
Going abroad. Locally, we have to look at what's happening locally first. Where we were 20 years ago in terms of, the shows, the events, the clubs, the pubs, the bars, the boat rides, the open spaces, the event venues, the Triangle, the Samar, wherever we frequented back then. All of that has diminished to the point where now the clubs, semi-club bar, the venues, the open-air venues, the boat rides, everything has diminished to the point where it's just like a scraping of events you'll find now, 102, outside of Carnival, of course.
Right.
And the thing is, it's not really based on chutney. Again, it's more based on just providing like an experience of come enjoy some somebody covers that you would like, maybe one or two chutney in between, and that's about it. And it's like, you know, it's not as fast and furious as we had it before, where every week you're looking out for 15, 20 different places which would have events. It's nothing like that. And again, I want to make the I just want to clarify the difference between what happens in Carnival, where you do get the traditional chutney, the chutney soca, the bologna covers as well. Fine. You get that in Carnival. As soon as Carnival is done, it has totally, you know, flipped upside down. It's gone to the point where everything goes dead except the covers. So we kind of in a way following the soca in a way, but not exactly.
So you're saying that we're taking it and we're making it into festival music now, as in like the original songs has become festival music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just for the festival.
I mean, why is it that we have become? Okay, my thing is that if that is what is going on, and only the original music is only happening during Carnival time, we could understand why that there's music at Carnival time, because there are many events and there's room for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's not just one or two people who are succeeding and making something from this. There are many people who are and can succeed during Carnival time. Even though it's a short-ish period, it's still at least 2 months long. And there's a whole Twin Island that we could make use of, right? But then now, if we only have that happening during Carnival time, for the rest of the year, if all we're getting is covers, doesn't that say that the industry is just stagnant, that we're stuck, that we are not moving forward, or we're not setting the bar high and continuously higher and higher and higher? Because I have seen there's an artist that came out with a song a couple of weeks ago that I had the pleasure of witnessing on the stage. And well, this is a soca artist.
Right.
And the artist went and released a new song after Carnival, and it was not let's say a festival song then. It was just like a vibe song, and it was a kind of sexy kind of song. And I was like, yeah, you know, yeah, like outside of the soca, like the regular soca market, this is a song that could stand up.
Right.
And I was like, right, yes, you know, if you have the avenue to take it somewhere because you're already performing internationally, yeah, go through hard, because you know what? Even though soca artists and bands and groups perform for predominantly either foreign-based nationals or people who are affiliated with people who are from Trinidad or the Caribbean, because like when I travel to, let's say, Miami or wherever, it's predominantly Caribbean people who are there.
Yeah.
But then they will have friends from the States or wherever. Let's say if you go to London or wherever, it will have a set of Trinidad people, a set of Caribbean people, but there will be other people who are based in London, and the Londonese and the Europeans, and sometimes you might get a Asian set of people who will come in and check it out. And that's how the music just kind of, you know, keeps growing and spreading and saying, right, okay, cool. But then now, if we are doing these cover versions, how is that supposed to catapult and push and let us keep stepping up and up and up and go somewhere? And then people are asking, so why not getting bigger? Why not getting better? It's because the source needs to deliver a better product that can stand on its own for one part, but then if everyone or a lot of people start putting their products out, then it will have a larger foundation for the whole thing to just stand up on and just keep going up and up and up. And that is exactly what's happening in soca music. Soca music is where it's not just festival music anymore. Yes, you'll have a whole set of songs about whining and jamming and getting on in the fete and jumping up in the road and all of these things. Yeah, it have a whole set of that. But there are also many other songs that have nothing to do with Carnival. It's just speaking about love. It speaks about vibes. It speaks about positive things, and, you know, you're going to get over this, and, you know, generally positive things.
Yeah.
Some of them have gone down the road of, you know, the I don't know, well, not really positive songs, right? And they don't need to be in a
But the
carnival
topics are
setting.
different. The topics are
Yeah,
different.
the topics are different, right?
And we look
But
forward to
then,
them now, as you say, rightfully so, in terms of certain artists giving you a certain style, a certain topic, a certain delivery. Not wanting to call names, but like if you look like a Cohen Dubois would give you a song that is just totally, as the American people would say, left field. From out of
Right.
nowhere, you get a song that has a topic that has never been covered before. Like, when he talk about the energy killers, and he don't have to be in the FET, he don't have to be in front and center, he don't have to be, everybody lime in everybody's space. And I was like, wow, I could relate to that. I really relate to that song, because it's like, when people tell you, go and lime here or go and be part of this. No, all right, I good in my space. And nobody really ever sing about it in that way. So I totally understand what you're saying about that. And from the Chutney side of it too, you put it forward to the artists, but I think we are very far from getting a variety of topics in terms of the Chutney industry.
Because if they're only doing cover versions after Carnival or outside of Carnival, then where's the growth for anything? Because then we can't even speak about lyrical content.
And the thing is, you know what? They would sometimes, the artists on the Chutney side would come and tell you, well, this is what the people want. After Carnival, this is what they want. They don't want Chutney.
Oh God,
and
miss me with that.
And secondly, they look at the ZTV and the Sony and the whatever other big competitions that they have on the Indian cable channels. And they say, but look, these fellas, these ladies, they're singing covers. They're only doing that to get the recognition and to get the prize, so that when they win, they actually become playback singers in Bollywood movies to sing original songs.
That's right.
That is what
these people
doing.
don't understand. They don't understand scale. We could look and say, yes, well, what's going on ZTV and whatever channel is happening, and these people sing cover versions. But you know how many people they're singing to? Millions and millions of people. Like I've explained to people already. I follow a couple Brazilian artists, and every single one of them, has millions of followers online. And I'm like, it took me like 5 seconds to realize, okay, wait, this is Brazil we're speaking about, right?
Brazil.
Almost every country in the South American continent touches Brazil, right? Almost every single one. You have a huge mass of people, right? India, a huge mass of people who will look at these competitions because they know what, first of all, the scale. If you have, let's say, a small amount for them might be 1 million people. If you have 1 million people looking at it, you're going to be like, all right, yeah, kind of successful. Right? It's an okay show. Right?
Yeah.
But then 1 million for us is the whole country.
The whole country,
Right?
For real.
So do we have the whole country tuning into these shows? No. Are there any of these shows? No.
Nope.
Right? We have to look not just at those shows, but we have to understand their scale. Their scale is way bigger than ours. So even though they're singing cover versions, as you mentioned, yes, they are singing it to an end. They want to be the people who are chosen to sing the songs in Bollywood movies or something else. Let's say if they want to be an indie pop star, yes, this could catapult them in that direction because you have people from the industry who are judging you and giving you feedback there, where they even have on headphones. They're saying, hey, well, I heard you say this thing here. Well, in the Indian language, of course, right? So they'll be saying, yes, well, I heard this and they sang this and it was good. But from what I'm seeing now, from peeking into those shows, almost everybody is just hitting it, right? And they just have to pick the best of the best.
Yep.
But again, we don't have that scale. We could say that, yeah, well, we have the Caribbean and we have foreign-based people who will, love it and stuff, but still we spread all over the place, right? For one song to make it, you need to touch here and there and there.
Yep.
Whereas in India, you touch one place, whoosh, it reaches because of natural scale. We cannot fight that. We need to understand what we have, and we need to be able to use that, right?
Yep.
So one of these, let me jump to a solution, right? Something that could work. I have grown up on, let's say, top 40 music, hip hop music, the MTV, the America's Top 10, that era, right?
Yeah.
And I was wondering how come people like, well, some people might know who I'm talking about here, right? Let's say if EPMD and A Tribe Called Quest and all of these people, how come everybody just, whatever they do is just big? Then I realized, hey, well, these people from either New York or they're from Cali. And again, the scale of those communities is just,
Yeah.
so like Trinidad could fall into New York City probably a couple times.
Yeah.
Right? So that community by itself, like just one state in America, there is just our whole country multiplies a couple times.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I was like, okay, so that's how this music just gets bigger because again, they'll just take a local TV channel and send a music video to them and then they'll play it and then it will blow up and yeah, okay, cool. But again, scale. So it's easy for us to say, yeah, well, those people do cover versions. It's about scale.
Yeah.
If we sing a cover version here, it's going to be like, right. But then we are also exposed to what the original version is for sure, as well as the 10,000 amounts of other cover versions of the same song. So then how many are we supposed to listen to? I will dare go and say, how much shall we tolerate?
Put 10 in a row on their playlist and just play all straight.
Yeah. And then everybody will be happy, right? No. No.
The thing is that you find that yes, the cover versions, they've been happening for quite a while, as you said. Now it's gotten to a point where it's really mega dominating the whole industry, right? And you speak to the artists. I mean, I don't always want to give the opinion of the artists from a negative point of view in a negative light. But, the artists will tell you, well, besides this is what the people want to hear, this is what we like as a society. We like Bollywood. People love their Bollywood, so we give them their Bollywood. And it seems as if that the solo artists, the band, the group of artists coming together to sing as well too, they don't want to expand their horizons. Even when they can sing the chutney, they're not singing the chutney even on stage, right?
Yeah.
Even that has been cut in a lot of ways and a lot of different events, getting plenty more covers performing in terms of the performance wise. And the artists, they follow a lot of the trends with the music that again shouldn't be, because you've rightfully said in the past and you say it up to today that you have to set your own trend. You have to be your own, you have to be your own creative person initiating all the music on your own and everything. It just seems that there's a follow fashion kind of a kind of way about how our artists are these days, and it wasn't like that before. It wasn't so bad before. It may have been
because
there, but now, boy, I know
it's fine to follow something, but you need to follow something and then take what you learn from that and lead with it. That's fine. So again, if we have somebody who's now coming up, then they could have their own avenue and say, all right, I'm doing a cover version of this. You like it or you like it? Because then that comes with several different things that you just have to do as an artist. You need to be able to sing well. If you're a singer, if you're a drummer or a guitarist, whatever, you have to be able to do those things well. You can't just say, well, here is our vibes and I get a nice place to record, so I'm looking good. No, it's not just about that. You're not going to last. You need to be able to, first of all, do what you're doing well. Then you need to be able to promote it. You have to be able to do the social media. You have to have a music video. You have to have management. Then you have to have some sort of course. You can't just, on a whim, just say, yeah, I want to see how far I can go. And you have no roadmap. At least just something to guide you. It doesn't even have to be an actual end goal. It could just say, all right, I want to be able to perform at this festival. And then let it take you there. And then you don't even have to let people know about it, but by your movements, we should be able to see that. And we should be able to expect that, oh yes, I could really see this person performing at this award show or this concert or this venue, something like that.
Right.
And then that brings me to one of the solutions that I wanted to move to, is that because foreign people in larger communities do so well just because of having a larger community. That's why a lot of people locally, they go and they study abroad.
Right.
Because when you study abroad, you're just naturally in a room with probably about 100 people. Let's say if you go to university, the rooms have a whole set of people, right? So just from being in the same class as somebody, you could say, yeah, that person in my class. And then you get to understand that this person has danced really well.
Right.
And you could use them in a social media post, or then they might be able to go in a music video with you, or then you might meet somebody who could do editing. And all of this could just come from some class about biology or something, right? It doesn't even have to do anything with anything.
Yeah,
it could just be people who are interested in the same arts, and you don't even need to be studying arts, but again, just by having that community. And then going on the campus now, you can say, all right, this person is studying, in this faculty and that faculty or whatever. And you just meet people, and then you just connect, and you're just part of the community. And that's how so many international linkages and breakthroughs are made, just by studying, going to the same school, right? And then some people work for multinational companies. So even from doing that, you could say, right, well, I speak with this one and that one, I know this person, and you could send them your song. Say, hey, well, just because you know these people. So then it boils down to like the real fine detail, which is the simple thing, is just relationships. Right. So it's not, I don't like to say the thing about, yeah, well, I know this one and I know that one and it's who you know. And I don't like to put it like that. I like to say that it's relationships, because some of the people that I have met in this industry, it just happened just like that. I wasn't pegged to say, well, okay, meet this one because this is so and so and so. And what could work together. It just hardly ever happens like that, if ever. And just because you meet somebody, like I met somebody in the industry, and I was like, hey, I really like your work and thing. And that person just immediately say, hey, well, if you like that one, tell me what you think about this. And I immediately was interested, because I recognize that this person does good work from just what I just saw on my own. Correct. And then when they showed me their piece of work, I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. And that got me even more impressed. And then I'm more sold into what their talent was. So just naturally being able to communicate effectively and being able to have relationships with people. It could be with the people who work at the restaurant that you go to, whether it be a fast food restaurant, whether it be a sit down and dine in restaurant. It could just be with those kind of people. Just treat them good, speak with them good. If you frequent those places or frequent anywhere, just make sure that you have good relationships. If you pick up your child from school and you know that not even know if somebody does something, just having good relationships with the people who are parents of a child in your child class.
Right.
All of those things count for something. It's not you're going to use everybody for everything and say, here, it's not about going about it with that mentality, because people will find you out. Right? And they will see you for what you are, and they wouldn't say anything. They just wouldn't take a relationship with you further. But still, if you have really good relationships with people, whether it be like even when I travel, just knowing the air hostess or the air steward, just talking to them cool. When you go on another plane and you see them again, they gonna treat you real nice. If you go from anywhere, and people know you for being who you are, just having that relationship with people, that goes a long way, and you never know who you're gonna meet.
No, I fully understand what you're saying. And of course, that is definitely the perspective, or that's the direction that people should take. Now, there are some people out there, just playing devil's advocate here, right? You talk to some people, some of the artists, and they will tell you, well, I just find in my space. I good in my space. I happy doing what I doing. Cover versions. I am just I just doing covers for people. I do my little thing on the weekend. I get back to my 8 to 4, or I get back to whatever I do regularly, and I'm fine. I'm okay. I don't want to expand further. I don't want to look at other markets. I just cool with just being where I am in this space today. What would you say to those people?
Because that's their ambition. So I know that there are some people in the industry who I find they could take their voice and do something even bigger with it. Right. But they just don't. Because that's their ambition. And you honestly can't be upset with someone who doesn't have a bigger ambition. I would say a greater ambition, but a bigger ambition.
Right.
And it could be that they just can't see themselves, or they are surrounded with the wrong people, or there are people who are just benefiting from them and just want to keep them there
Right.
because it's convenient to them, because they perform at this club or this place or this bar or for these particular promoters all the time, and it's cool with them because they could get in free, or they could get free drinks, or they know this one and they really like their sister and they want to be with them or want to marry them or whatever. As simple as that. People will want to keep you in a certain hole, but don't follow them people. Don't get stuck with those people. Lie with them and say, hey, this is cool, but have your own ambition. It's because people don't know what to aspire to and they feel as though they can't make it. But it's because they have no direction or have little direction, or they have the wrong people around them and they're just surrounded with the wrong people, and people just tell them, well, they're good right here, or we're going to spend our money to do a proper music video for, because you can keep that money and make a next song. But then where's the song going if you have no music video? Because then people who are hiring abroad or anywhere else need to see some sort of video content, because that's the name of the game now. So it all goes hand in hand. So it's not just about the music. The music is the catalyst. It says, hey, this is what it comes from. This is the seed, right? So we like this, but how can we consume this thing now? So if you are a chef and you could real cook and thing, and you have nowhere to sell your food, you'll just be eating it yourself. Right? So if you could really make juice and you say, right, my oranges are the best. I real squeezing orange and thing and making juice and thing. But you alone drinking it and only your family know about it, and say, well, boy, you should open my shop. And you just, they're like, nah, I good. I just like making this amount and I don't think I can make for 100 people. Well, stay right there and just make it for your family. But again, if that's your ambition, that's your ambition. But at the same time, you need to try, if you want to have a bigger goal or achieve more, you need to surround yourself and find people who dream big, who think big, who are part of bigger, either companies or organizations. And I'm not just talking about business here. I'm just talking about, just on the whole, people who are affiliated with plenty other people. You need to listen to how they think. You need to listen to how, what they think about different situations, and see how they move, how they react to different things, whether it be even in the political arena, it could be entertainment arena, it could be social something, it could be anything. But surround yourself with people who have larger aspirations than yourself, because it's not just about you saying, well, if I could make it or not, but just know what is out there. It's like someone who just stays at home and they just know what home feels like, and they just know what their street, how it is to drive along their street feels like. But then if you go to the next town, or you go to the next city, or you try a different beach, then you start to realize, wait, it have this.
No, I wanna find out from your perspective, right? In terms of some of the elite singers out there who sing cover versions, it's something that we need to cover, right? They are without naming any names. There are some.
We have to do our own cover.
Well, okay. Put it this way: there are a handful of elite singers in Trinidad that are exceptional, in terms of vocal ability, delivery, the way that they input their own style, their own flavor, their emotion, everything into these songs, into these Bollywood songs.
No, you don't realize what you just say. You said that there are a handful of elite singers. Right. I know that we don't call names on this show, but you know what? People still going to get offended by that.
Right. Well, I mean,
that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we had to bring it out. We had to talk about it, right? And these individuals, you talk to them and they say, I want to be a cover singer, but of a different level. Like there are cover bands of all the rock bands, and cover bands of pop bands, and cover bands of R&B, and all around the world that tour the world as the cover band of X, Y, or Z. And these bands do pretty well. Right? They do pretty well. Some people aspire to be like that, although they have not achieved that status in terms of touring the world and getting out there as they want to. But their vocals, the way they deliver, the quality of their product is of a very high standard, right? Maybe not world standard as yet, but getting to that standard. Where would you place them? Where would you place them in terms of this whole conversation, this whole discussion that we're having right now? How would you place them, and would you say that there's a space for them worldwide for that Bollywood market to go out there and perform cover versions of some of the, the better artists out there?
Right. Here's the other solution to that. You need to find out where your audience is, because it's not here. It's not here. Not in Trinidad and Tobago. The audience is not here, because there are several other bands that are not touring that are right here, and they're doing all of that already. Yes. I would not say ever that there's no room for people, but at the same time, you have to understand how large of a pie are you going to take? Where's your audience? Is there any growth for that? So let's just say that, I'll use this example and come back home, right? Let's say if we have a band locally that is really good at being like a cover band for like Bon Jovi, right? And they sing, Living on a Prayer and all of those things, and they do it real good. They have a real sick guitarist and a okay-ish bassist, but a real sick drummer, and the vocalist is real on point, right? You could actually sell that, but you have to know where that market is. Right. And then you have to understand that that is not of us. That is not of you. You are Trinbagonian. I'm just saying this if you are from Trinidad and Tobago, right? Where is your audience? Where's your market? Because you could, I'll tell you how you could shop this. You are an exotic Caribbean band.
Exotic.
Right? You're from the exotic Caribbean. Because that alone gets some people very, very interested, right? Depending on what it is. So they could say, okay, Caribbean women are of a different caliber. They could say Caribbean food is a different caliber, right? And those things draw people in. Caribbean beaches are better than beaches somewhere else. You can see all of those things now. But a Caribbean version of a rock band, that's interesting on its own, right? As strange as we might think it is, because we understand how tight that could be locally. But at the same time, if you're trying to reach out and do something now, you may have an audience for it. I don't know the exact audience for it, but I could tell you one way that you could find it is if you go on a platform like Twitch. So if you don't know, Twitch is a platform where you can perform, sing, talk, play video games, all live, and make money from it. Right? There are Twitch streamers locally that make their whole living off of just streaming, and they just playing video games whole day.
Yep.
Right? And there are some people who just talk and play with computers whole day. There are musicians that are there, well, not all day, but for several hours, right? And they get money by tips. So you tip them and they say, oh, thank you so much for, whatever, and ting. And you could start getting your audience out there. So let's say if the band consists, let's say we're being realistic, right? Let's say the band consists of 3 people or 4 for the most, right? Because how many times you're going to get 4 people in the same place, like several times for the week to try and establish or gain some sort of following, right?
Right.
And you have these 4 people who are there just jamming and playing music and playing all your Bon Jovi hits, right? And you said, yeah, well, so and so, where you guys from? The Caribbean. They have nothing. The audience has nothing to gauge that from, because the Twitch platform is international. Yeah. So you are on an international platform. You don't have to wait for local radio to play your songs. You have to wait for local TV to play your music video. You are on a platform already with other people just like yourself, thousands of others, just by the way. But at the same time, you are just almost on a level playing field, where if you gather enough following and enough, I'll say propulsion, they say, right, the gas going and we growing. Then you reach, as they say, front page of Twitch, which is like a big advertisement for you. So when you go on Twitch's landing page, you will see several videos of people that are live streaming. And then they'll say, right, well, okay, who is in the rock category? Who's in the musicians? Who's in the band category? Who's in the just chatting category? Whatever they have. I never really explored it too much, but I do look at Twitch channels when I get a chance, because it's very entertaining because of the type of people that I follow, right? And you could gather a following and just start building. And I know that there are Caribbean DJs. I know people who are on Twitch and they just DJ. They'll DJ like about 2 times a week, sometimes 3. And I know when they're online, they'll be like online on a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Friday, if they don't have any gigs. and they will just build up a name for themselves. And then when they launch and they say, hey, I'm going to have an event on this date, it'll be 2 months from now, get your tickets now, support your boy or your girl, and, make something happen. So that's one way that you could start getting yourself out there and not just relying, depending on radio and TV and your friend and your neighbor. You don't need to do that no more. TikTok, Instagram, those two especially. The Facebook, that's a whole lot of bacchanal by itself. I believe the TikTok is real bacchanal, right? But again, it's where the people are at. TikTok, Instagram. If you get videos and content out there, you wouldn't believe in about 6 months from now, even less, depending on what your content is, you could hit viral in less time than that.
Yeah.
Let's say if you have a real nice girl dancing in your video, or you have real muscles and thing, and you perform with your shirt off and thing, you go through hard. If you could capture audience and you cool and you comfortable with that, you go through hard. The thing is about capturing the audiences, then you keep them by building relationships with them.
Right.
So again, I don't know if people really talk about these things, right? Like what we're doing here right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if people do it, hopefully in a constructive manner that you could understand, because we're just talking like two dudes here, right? Hopefully we could get through to you that there is a way, there's a path. And even if you're not an artist and you're a lover of the music and you know artists and people who work in bands or in the industry, you could let them know, hey, why don't try Twitch? Why don't we try going on IG Live a couple more times? Why we don't put more stuff out on TikTok? Stop saying anything with fight down. Fight down is a thing that doesn't exist. Just by the way,
I don't like that word. That phrase.
That phrase, fight down, does not exist. Right. Why you don't like it? Tell me why you don't like it.
Because especially as you just mentioned, with all the opportunities out there, all the channels of opportunity, the windows of opportunity out there, the fact that you have control over your life, your career to such a large extent now, there's no way that you can get fight down if you grab these opportunities and do what you have to do. Just like you said, go on Twitch, go on TikTok, expose yourself in terms of your talent and keep trying to build your following. Who could stop that? Who is going to come now physically and say, I'm stopping you from growing on social media? It's impossible, right? There are avenues at every turn. So this fight down thing where you are letting people come into your life and controlling you mentally and sometimes physically is, maybe in the past, in the 20, 30 years ago, they only had limited opportunities. And yes, people used to try and block you or try and prevent you from doing certain things. But now that is not the case. Again, with all that is happening with technology, especially from a musical standpoint, you have so much opportunity. So I really can't understand that. I hate to hear when people come and tell me, fight down, again, fight down, again, fight down. Come now, man. Nah, don't understand that.
No, when people say fight down, it's because they're not accustomed to or exposed to the idea of thinking on your own 2 feet. It's because you have been brought into a space where you're not accustomed, probably working for your own stuff. Right? So to an extent, I'll say that you kind of get spoiled. Right? It is what it is. So you keep thinking that you need to get help. You need to get breakthrough from this. You need this one to bust you out on the scene. Why don't you make it easy for somebody who will then want to, help you? Make it easy for somebody to help you then. Right? So if I have let's say a student of mine is doing really good work, they will need to ask me something. I'll just say, hey, what content you have? Or I wouldn't even ask them. I'll just post whatever they have, and just repost it. Because it's something that is cool. So just make cool stuff and stop relying on people to give you something or give you a handout. Expect somebody to do something for you. And this is not going to sit well in everybody, camper.
No,
we know that. We know that.
Yeah.
But that's the reality. So technology, as you were mentioning before, Big Daddy, is something that has taken away careers, taken away jobs, but at the same time, if you check it, it creates new things. So when bands used to have like 10 and 12 people in it long time, now you lucky if you get 6 and 7. because of, let's say, Ableton Live, because you
Right.
have all the music, all the stems and everything for the songs inside Ableton, and you just need one man to just act the role of like 10 people, which I have done for many years, and now I actually teach the software.
Right.
Right? So when people want to learn how to perform on stage, I'm the one that has to teach them usually. And some people say, yeah, the Ableton, fight me down, and the Ableton take me walk and thing. And I'll be like, well, what do you do? And there's like, yeah, well, I play trumpets. And I'll be like, okay, so you don't know like 3 other people who could play trumpet too? There's like, yeah. I'll say, right, well, create a trumpet quartet band. You don't have to rely. And look how fast that was. It's because that's how I think. I think about finding solutions to issues, not even problems. Like something comes up, you have to find a solution for it. Don't expect somebody to say, yeah, well, take this and go with it. That you have this, that. Sometimes it will come along. Sometimes in your life it will come along. It will make things easy and it will help. But at the same time, don't learn to rely on it. You have to be able to say, right, if you are the trumpet man, find 3 other people and or 2 other people, and you call yourself Tres Trompetos. or whatever. Tres Trompetosos. And that's the name of your band. And you just sell yourself like that. So you no longer have to exist in a typical retro band structure that had a whole set of different things in it. Whereas now you could base it on that one thing.
So what you just do? I just sing like a certain artist out there. Okay, so who is this artist? A fella now, he's a red man, but he doing real good these days. He's real popular. So he take away your job here. So I don't find three other men like you and form a vocal band. All right, no problem.
Yeah. Four redos.
Tres redos. Cuatro redos.
Cuatro redos. Why are you going Spanish with this thing?
I don't know.
Right. So really quickly, I wanna jump on some things that could prevent you, just like how we talk about the fight down and stuff. Just let that wash away, just like the waves has come on the shore. Just let that go away with the back swash. So we call it the swash and the backwash. Right?
Yeah.
Let that just wash away in the backwash, right?
Yeah.
That's the geography that kicking in there. Right. So some things that you need to avoid is online feuds. If you angry with somebody, keep it between you and that person. Or just keep it to yourself. Don't even let that person know. Right? It probably is better for both of you all in the end, right?
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself, because Facebook especially is a place where I observe these things happening. And I am actually thinking that it is a promotional tactic about getting people to listen to your song. And if that's the case, well, you know what? That is working for this amount of people. So you want to capture this audience, or you want to just take, 4 steps back so that you can see that, wait, there's all of this around that now that you could capture, right? So instead of you focusing on this, people just looking at you for entertainment value, not coming to your talent, They are looking at you just for entertainment value. They're just looking at the story that you post or whatever thing you put on your feed. They're just looking at that as entertainment to laugh at you. Right? Stop making people laugh at you. So you going for this crowd? Why not go for the people behind that? The people who, think, and the people who will want something deeper connection. If people feel as though you arguing about something on Facebook makes you, desirable, let's see how far that takes you. You show me, you prove it, you prove me wrong then. You prove me wrong that your bacchanal is bigger than anything else and has made your music catapult into stardom. Prove me wrong, right? That's the next thing. Next thing, threats. Both myself and you, Big Daddy, we have received threats and complaints from people already, where artists don't like what you say about them, or not even if you say anything about them. Like if you just mention something about this or that, and I don't even want to say exactly what I'm speaking about here, honestly. Because we've all had, people get vexed at you and say, hey, well, how you gonna do that? And I'm like, listen, do you even know what I'm speaking about? Did you hear what it is I said? And usually they'll say no. Well, just hear. I'll be like, right, well, you don't even deserve to be in my space right now. Right? Honestly, that's toxic. If you have people like that who don't even know what's going on and they hear something,
Try and get the truth. Try and find out the truth. You know what I mean?
And they're not even talking to you like they're trying to find out. They're trying to say, well, how you go say that? Right? They believe their friend or the person that they know.
Yep.
Rather than find out. I'm not asking you to be a journalist. You know? I'm just asking you to be a little sensible about it.
Both sides of the issue.
That's right. So if you come across as a person who is not making sense, or you cannot have a proper conversation with somebody, then would somebody want to have a conversation with you? They may respond to you, but then you might realize or not that they may not speak with you or want to, have anything to do with you. And that's their right. That's fine. Not everybody's going to like me or you or somebody else, but at the same time, know things now. Try and find out things. And don't just accuse, and don't be a person that jumps on other people, because you know what? The more people who jump in on other people, it keeps bringing the industry down. And then people only have so much tolerance to take this kind of behavior. So when you have people who doing that now and they say, oh, then they start to get this whole thing about, I get a fight down and whatever. It's not about the fight down. It's about making sense, understanding the industry that you're in and understand how people view things. So when you put Bacchanal on Facebook, I read it. I will read it. But it's not making me want to listen to your music.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
You'll get my attention, but I'm not even pressing like. I'm not even doing that ridiculous thing where everybody's like the 100 and have the thing where they point to that thing, so 100, or spot on or perfect and this kind of thing, and I'm like,
that is really disgusting. You see that?
That's really irritating. That's really irritating. But it's there, right? It is there, and they can't avoid it. But still, that don't do nothing for your career. Nothing. That just makes you seem as though you're a bacchanalist. So when we see you in public, we just kind of stay on the next side of the road, right? Yeah, and that brings me to another point that I had: confrontation. Be wary of those things. Try not to confront people. Try to make situations better so that you could build, not erode and break down.
Right.
Keeping. Some people might know something more than somebody else. Right? So like, I'm an Ableton instructor. So if somebody asks me something about the software or live performance, whatever, once I have the time, I will tell them what I need to know, You don't need to pay me. I don't need to charge you. Not to say, no, I'm not going to tell you that because you had to join our class. I need to give you some kind of body. No, there are things that I do for people. I mean, I wouldn't say and help them out. And
I know
they're very, very much appreciative of it, right? Things where they save literal money and I get nothing from it, right? I don't need that. I need to know that you have the tools to set you up to get somewhere. Right? If something comes back to me eventually, it just does. That's how the universe works. You just need to be a person that is ready to give. I say give everything, right? And say, well, I'll give until I'm dead. It's not about that, It's just being free with it to understand that, okay, there are people who are free with information. There are people who are not gatekeeping, which is the term. There are people who would like to help. But as we help, maybe one day you might be in a position to help me. I don't expect it, but it'll be kind of cool. But I'm not asking for it. That's the point. I'm not asking for it. So I will help you willingly.
A
lot of the times. Once I have the time to do it. Sometimes I will not have the time. And then some people be like, but how are you going to tell me? I'll be like, I message people, hey, I'm literally going on a plane right now. I can't talk to you on a plane, right? Or I now reach home, I real tired, I need to get some sleep. Okay, you gotta try and understand that. I know you need help, but at the same time, I need help too. Right? Just like you. Right? So let's be free with things and let's share things and try to build it and not just see what we could get from other people. Let's try to build things, right? Another thing that could be stopping people from helping the industry grow are the promoters. Some promoters don't know how to promote their events. And then some promoters don't treat their artists that they're hiring properly. And they don't pay them properly or they're not paid on time. Even if an artist is working for free, you need to be able to treat them like an artist. And then the artists, on the other hand, need to know how to be treated. So let's say if you're an artist, this is something that some people will know, some won't know. You need to be able to request certain things. And depending on what you request, the promoter will know that you're serious. So let's just say you need to have a backstage tent or at least area. Right? I'm not expecting that they rent a whole tent just for you alone, right? Depending on who you are. ask for a space. It could be a
Right.
table. See, right, I need a space. I need somewhere to change. I need drinks. I need 2 cases of water. I need some towels to wipe my face on stage and after stage. I need some fruits in the backstage area so that I could, just eat something light before I go on stage because I don't want to eat food. I don't want to eat dal and rice and
Right.
bhaji and curry
Dal and
goat
rice and bhaji.
before I go on
Oh,
stage because when you're
God.
singing and somebody goat flying out your mouth now. Can you go so?
Oh, Lord.
Hold on there, yeah.
Somebody bring a Alka-Seltzer for me, please. My belly
Somebody
hot
go
in there.
My belly turning.
Oh, God.
It upside down right now.
Anybody have any Pepto?
Whatever he knows. Yeah. So, you need to be able to request certain things from promoters.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
promoters don't want to provide those things, all well and good, but you have to know what you are tolerating. And what you tolerate is, how people are going to treat you. What you demand and what people give to you, that's how people are going to treat you. So if you
Right.
don't demand anything, then people will take the chance and walk all over you.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying be standoffish about yourself, I'm not saying that. I'm
Right.
saying that you need to let promoters know that you need these things to get you comfortable before and after your performance. So make sure that there's a backstage area for you that is set up properly. I mean, let's say if you're performing in a bar or some kind of thing, you might not have a backstage area, but you
Right.
should have a area, right? You should have something provided. Even if they tell you, okay, wait and I don't know, it could be anything. Depending
Yeah.
on the type of venue that you're at, you need to ask for certain things.
But specifics aside, you're talking about generally there are certain things that need to be in place and certain things that need to be in place, not only physically, but in terms of the relation that you have with the promoter, in terms of what you ask for, what you get, but also certain things about maybe the contract as well, and certain things that involve the actual performance, because even sometimes just the number of songs that you're going to sing, in terms of your performance time, all of that is some people might take it for granted that, okay, I come into the whole thing, I could just do a 2-3 songs, and then the promoter expects more, or maybe you expect anything more would be something different. So you need to get all of that.
Yeah, you get paid for 20 minutes and you end up singing an hour. And then you might, I'm just saying, if you go and you say, hey, well, here is not sing for an hour, we're going to do for me. No, brother. No. Take your 15 minutes pay and ride out.
Yeah.
Right? If you singing there for longer than you supposed to sing, that is up to you, But don't want make no demands for nothing, because you know what? If you go afterwards and you say, I want to fight for my rights and I perform and it's my talent and I bring the people there and whatever, if you do something to burn bridges with that person, then you know what? They're not going to hire for nothing again. Whereas let's say if you perform, you do your hour instead of your 20 minutes, and I say, hey, you see how people enjoy that, eh? And just by saying that and bringing it to the promoter's attention, they'll recognize, or they will know. They will know. They'll be like, yeah, it was real good. They will then know that people enjoyed you being there. So then it will be more likely for them to want to have you for something else.
Right.
And you could suggest to them and say, hey, you could probably do something bigger. How about this? You could do so and so, and that's how you make a relationship. Remember, I spoke about relationships. You have a relationship with people. Even from promoting events, you need to be able to promote the event effectively. You need to know that it's reaching your audience. So TV and radio, wherever. Social media is it. That's where you're going to get the bulk of your stuff, right? So like radio stations, yes, depending on what type of event it is and where it is, yes, you put it on radio. TV, I don't know what TV station are going to promote these things effectively. Yes, you will find places that you will get a lot of viewership, but is that where your audience is? That's the next thing, right? Social media is probably where your audience is. And if you flood it enough, people are going to be like, hey, well, I need to be here. And then you start doing staggered setup promotion where, well, staggered is not the right term, right? But basically, you have a promotion where you have one ad done. Let's say if it's a 15-second ad, 20-second ad. Then you have another one where you're saying something else, and then you could either bring it into like a small skit or something. Then you make a third ad where you're outside and you're doing something with somebody else. So you're actually making it more desirable for people to come to this event and want to get to know you and get to know more about you, because you know what? Just as I was speaking about with the Caribbean band being a Bon Jovi cover band, the story is what people are even more interested in.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes people just go, I know this for a fact, right? Some people just go to see certain artists because they know that they're single.
Oh, God.
Right? Some people go because they know that this person living down by them and they want to be able to reach out and tell them, hey, well, I from so-and-so here, you know, I from here too, you know. Because you feel like you could talk to them and you may have a chance to get to talk to them after or before the show. You need to know how to get yourself out there so that people will want to know more about your story. People need to know, well, because people are not just coming for the music. They're coming there for you. And what about you is going to make them spend their money.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Money. If you can't make money for a business, they're not going to want you.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yep. Definitely. And all of this that you're talking about, of course, is going to assist in the entire industry, not falling apart, so to speak, and maintaining some sort of structure, identity. You know, it will give it a sort of a bond where everything comes together as it should. And that's from a certain perspective. But in terms of the music part of it, there's not much that you could really say in terms of, you know, the return of Chutney, the return of Chutney Soca, in terms of the traditional, the English Chutney Soca, the Bolini. I feel even though all that we've said in terms of how, you know, you want to portray yourself in a particular industry as an industry, I feel we have a situation where a lot of people out there are in a kind of rut and stuck in that rut where they will need a lot of different factors coming into their lives. And a lot will be external again to move them in that direction. As much as we are saying all the stuff that should be in place for you to be creative and do your own thing and try and you know, be in a space where you could be proud of what you are doing and et cetera, et cetera. Right. I think a lot of external factors, maybe, you know, a few hits that might come into the industry out of I don't know where, might encourage some of these people. You might get some people deviating and moving away from the Bollywood, going back to the Chutney Soca, because they see things are happening again from external sources out of Trinidad, Suriname, maybe Guyana, and it might be like, wow, let's go back in that direction. So I feel like there's so much that plays into getting back to where we were in Chutney. Maybe, you know, the other industries don't apply, but in Chutney is a real dynamic kind of situation that may be very difficult to just analyze and, you know, put things into perspective, just like cut and dry.
Yeah, because I think it needs to do better than just getting back to where it was. I think it needs to evolve, and it needs to evolve and grow. It can't just evolve and die.
Yeah, exactly.
It can't evolve and suffer.
Yeah.
It's not about that, because you could do all of those things. Yep. Why not choose to evolve and grow? And we need to stop fighting each other. We need to help each other. Like, I could guarantee you, if one artist helps another one, you'll realize that one would be more inclined to help either that same person that helped them or another person.
Right.
So, like, I noticed that when I drive and I let somebody pass in front of me, almost every single time, in the shortest possible, like within a minute, literally, that person in front of me lets somebody pass in front of them.
Right.
Right? Because, you know, kindness is contagious. So if you apply that same thing in the business of Chutney or in the business of music, because throughout this show, in all 3 episodes now, you keep hearing me talk about the business. Yes, the business does well because it seems like, or it comes across when you do it when you care about things and when you show that you care and you're interested in it, it comes across. So
Right.
people will be more interested in it. So yeah, you don't know.
Definitely. So to end it off, I think we reached that point, right? Where we could say
for
that,
sure.
is it dying? I don't know if to say it's really dying per se, but it's withering away in a sense, and it's evolving maybe negatively in a sense, and maybe in a direction we don't want it to go. And yes, as you rightfully said, we need to get it not only back to where it was in a sense, but yes, it has to evolve, it has to change, it has to move forward with the times and actually resemble something that is professional, something that people could look out for in terms of like coming into the industry and being part of the industry and actually growing the industry and taking it where it's supposed to be. But to say dying might be a harsh word to use, but it's not. I would just say it's not where it's supposed to be right now. It's very much at a low point from different angles. It's at a low point, and we really need to revive this thing. We need to resuscitate the chutney industry. Put it that way.
Well, I'll say that I'll end with the point of again growth. Because I travel, I hardly ever hear about or notice or see chutney events abroad.
Yeah.
Not that there aren't any, but it's not growing in number. At least from what I can tell.
Just the same
I know some of the promoters. Yeah, I know some of the promoters who do these things every year, the same events. But how many more is happening? You can't say that, okay, well, you could only have it in these places, which, I mean, I know that is a factor. So like, let's say New York, Miami. Yeah, you could have chutney events there for sure.
Toronto,
yeah, definitely. Toronto, definitely.
You have other places too, but not as frequent.
Yeah, but and then I will see, like I saw a band go somewhere else that was not any of those places. And they promoted it and I was like, yes, we need more of this. We need more of this. You know, don't just tell me that you're going. I need to see footage of the event. I need to know what happened during, after, everything. I need to get vlogs and things from you all. So that one entity that traveled and made that trip, I was like, yeah, well, cool. That's amazing. We need to see more of that. We need you to promote yourself and your units or you as an artist more effectively. We need to see more of that. So you also do not need to rely on a regular show or somebody to just hire you to come play for something. The other solution that I'm offering is that you need to start throwing your own events. So even if it's the beaten Florida and New York and Toronto area, you'll know that there are people and you have the numbers that could come to an event. But how about establishing another event outside of all of that? I, being a part of our units, we have done that several times in different ways. But at the same time, you need to have good music. You need to have a good personality that people, you know, get to like and want to be around and want to, you know, become a fan of. And then you need to have the avenue that people will pay money to come and see you. Not just say, yeah, well, I having this thing here and I'm a partner house and wherever they go. Not just like that, you know? If you want to do that, that's fine. And that's your startup. Yeah, cool. All right. Nice. You can have a little backyard jam and start with that. Yes. But it should start from there. And I need to see somebody who starts that and evolves. Not just say, yeah, like, go and play for this person wedding. And the wedding in Houston or it's in Tennessee or it's in Taiwan. And, you know, it can't just be that. It needs to start there or reach there and then grow from there. At the event, whether it is a wedding or funeral or wherever it is you're performing at, you need to be able to meet people, talk to them, establish relationships, get numbers, get Instagram and TikTok handles, wherever, message people, communicate to them. Let them see who you are and you look at who they are. And, you know, just start making things happen. So you could ask them now because you performed at a wedding that they were at or they were a family member or something. And you could say, hey, well, is there a venue around there that we could, you know, probably hold a show or whatever? And they might be like, yeah, there is a venue and the fellow who owned the venue is my brother. or wherever, and all of these things. But we need people to have the belly to say, right, I'm going to reach out here now and do it. And then
Right.
when you do it, you could show off and say, yeah, well, I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Yeah,
like I
exactly.
could say that last year I did screen content for a show in Central Park. But
Wow.
this has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was the first soca show ever. First soca concert in Central Park in New York. And I was a part of it. Great.
Yeah.
It wasn't because
Yeah,
people came
excellent.
to see me, you know. They came to see the
Excellent.
units. They came to see
Yeah.
the team. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I now have that cred that I did that and I'm able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
now people see what it is I do and they ask me to teach them now how to do it. And I'm
Mhm.
cool with that, you know. I will show
Yeah.
you stuff. Right? Well, again, once I have the time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I want to start teaching people in bulk now and in groups to show people different things and let people learn from it and raise the standard of the industry. We can't
Yeah.
just be, well, I know this, you know, so I stay in my corner and I know about this and I grill good and think, look at all your suffering and we don't know how to do this. You know, we need to stop that. We need to stop
Yeah.
having that kind of mentality. You know? Anyways, we run wild here tonight, boy.
As the Guyanese people would say, we real gaff tonight, boy.
Yeah.
Plenty gaffing.
In a good way. This was really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoyed this one tonight. I
Definitely.
I can't wait to see the responses about this one.
Well, we're gonna get all sorts of responses, but we welcome them
Yeah, we welcome it.
on
And
either
again,
side.
Yeah, we really appreciate you for viewing and checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope that you could send us a little comment, let us know what you feel about the show. It's a cool
Yeah.
vibes. We appreciate that because we just here to help and throwing out 2 cents. Again, this is not just the regular bacchanal content that you're probably used to.
Mm-hmm.
We will throw in a little bit of, I think, inside and then one again, but really and truly, we're just trying to be a little more constructive.
Yeah.
So it's not for everyone.
No, it's not. It's a
We know
different
that.
cup of tea or coffee or chai tea or coffee or whatever you want to call it. It's totally different. And we intended it to be that way.
Yes.
Understand?
All right. Yep.
Right. So the curry stew stewing or Korean.
Yeah, it's ready for us to consume and ready for the people to consume.
The
Thank you
Chutney
for consuming.
Podcast. The Chutney Podcast.
The Chutney Podcast. Encourage you. Thanks for watching.
Yes, people, we gone.
All right, eh? All right, I think, eh?
Later, I think,
Launch
eh?
up on yourself.
Yeah. All that.
All that.